The house was sold while the family was still eating breakfast inside it. That was the part no one believed at first, not even the police. At 9:42 a.m. on a Monday in suburban Marietta, Georgia, a three-bedroom home legally changed ownership without a single person stepping inside, without a single signature done in person, and without the people living there having any idea it had happened. By the time the coffee on the kitchen counter went cold, the house no longer belonged to them. The property belonged to Andrew and Melissa Carter, a couple in their early 40s with 2 children and a mortgage they had been paying on time for 7 years. Andrew worked as a field supervisor for a telecom company. Melissa ran a small online craft business from home. Their finances were stable, their credit clean, and their neighborhood quiet enough that nothing unexpected ever really happened there. That sense of normalcy was exactly why their house was chosen. The scam did not begin with a phone call, an email, or a visit. It began months earlier with data. Public records, social media posts, old mortgage filings, and a breach from a minor utility provider that Andrew never even remembered signing up for. The scammer didn't need much, just enough to assemble a version of Andrew Carter that could pass automated checks. A name, an address, a social security number missing only a digit or two, which could be guessed or brute forced by systems designed to prioritize speed over scrutiny. Using that information, the scammer created a limited liability company registered out of state, one that existed only on paper and in databases. The LLC listed Andrew Carter as an authorized managing member, using a digital identity that looked convincing enough to pass online verification. From there, the next step was simple: transfer the property. In Georgia, property deeds could be filed electronically. The process was meant to reduce paperwork, speed up transactions, and cut costs. It worked perfectly, just not in the way anyone expected. A quitclaim deed was filed transferring ownership of the house from Andrew Carter to the LLC. The signature was electronic. The notary was remote. The system accepted it. No one notified the Carters. The house was then listed for sale, not publicly, but through a private off-market investor network. The price was slightly below market value, not enough to raise suspicion, but enough to attract quick interest. An investor from Florida made an offer within 48 hours. The title search showed a clean transfer, the paperwork looked legitimate, title insurance was issued, the deal closed in less than 3 weeks. All of this happened while the Carters lived their normal lives. School drop-offs, work deadlines, weekend grocery runs. They noticed nothing unusual because nothing about their daily routine changed. The first sign that something was wrong came when Andrew received a letter from his mortgage lender thanking him for paying off his loan in full. He assumed it was a mistake, maybe even a scam mailer, and tossed it aside. The second sign came when their homeowners insurance policy was abruptly canceled. The insurer said the property no longer was in Andrew's name. That was when confusion turned into concern. Andrew spent hours on the phone, bouncing between the bank, the insurance company, and the county office. Each call ended the same way, with someone politely explaining that according to their records, Andrew Carter did not own the house anymore. The deed transfer was legal, the sale was complete, the new owner intended to take possession within 30 days. Melissa thought it had to be identity theft, something they could reverse quickly. She was wrong. Their attorney explained that what had happened was deed fraud, a crime that existed in an uncomfortable space between civil and criminal law. The scammer didn't steal money directly from the Carters, they stole ownership. Undoing that required lawsuits, not police reports, and lawsuits took time. Time was something they didn't have. The new owner filed for eviction, claiming lawful purchase and good faith investment. From their perspective, they were the victim too, having paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a house they could not access. The court had to decide whose loss mattered more. While the case dragged on, the Carters continued living in the house, paying utilities, maintaining the yard, and sleeping each night under a roof they were legally losing. Their savings disappeared into legal fees. Stress crept into everything. Arguments started over things that had nothing to do with the house and everything to do with fear. The scammer was never identified. The LLC dissolved itself automatically after the sale. The digital trail led through foreign servers, layered accounts, and cryptocurrency wallets that law enforcement openly admitted they would never recover. The system had worked exactly as designed, just not for the people it was supposed to protect. The judge ruled that fraud had occurred, but upheld the sale. The investor retained ownership. The Carters were ordered to vacate within 45 days. They received a settlement that covered only a fraction of what they lost, both financially and emotionally. On the day they moved out, Andrew stood in the driveway staring at the house, trying to understand how something so solid could be taken without force, without warning, and without anyone breaking a single lock. Melissa boxed up years of family photos while their children asked why they couldn't stay in their rooms anymore. The house was resold 6 months later at a profit. Today, the Carters rent. Andrew checks property records every few months, not because he expects something to change, but because he no longer trusts that ownership is permanent. Their story never went viral. It never became a headline. It exists quietly among thousands of similar cases across the country, where homes are stolen not with crowbars or threats, but with paperwork, speed, and systems that assume everyone is telling the truth. In America, people are taught that if you pay your mortgage, keep your records clean, and follow the rules, your home is safe. The Carters learned something different. Sometimes the house is gone long before anyone tells you, and by the time you find out, the system has already moved on.